Hello, hello. We are back with Launch Coast Football, and man, this was a week one out of the who knows where. I know, outside of just aliens landing on the field and just playing football, what else could happen this week one, Chelsea?
I know it was definitely a week one to remember for sure. I've seen a lot of dull week ones in my short life, and this one did not qualify for that. There's no doubt.
It starts with a season-ending injury, spitting, and the delay of game and a game being delayed, and ends with a crazy Monday Night Football game between two rivals. So we're going to do our best to recap with a couple of just topics from a couple of highlights from the big points from this week because I think if we go game by game, we'll be here for like 3 hours because man,
Right. If
this
you
was
guys want to see a game by game breakdown, by the way, one of my favorite football social media influencers, I don't know if you've watched him, Daniel, but his name's Tom Grossi.
oh yeah, I know Tom Gossi.
Yeah, he's on YouTube and he started out his week one recap with him in an Eagles jersey and him in a Cowboys jersey, both going and spitting. Legendary.
Well, how about you start off our recap, Chelsea? What was one of the things that you saw from on week one that just caught your eye?
Okay, so the first one I'm going to lead with is probably going to be unexpected to most of you because it's not a team here on the East Coast that most of us follow. But the Raiders started out with a victory in week one after going through QB purgatory for many years, like the Colts have. Um, Geno Smith came out and threw for the second or third most passing yards in week one, which I mean, I thought Geno was decent, but I didn't think the Raiders were that good, and they still managed to squeeze out a win. And I know it was not against a particularly intense or competitive or you know, spectacular team that they beat. But hey,
What did the Patriots have?
a win is a win. I mean, Ashton Jeanty had what 23 carries for 56 yards. That was just not good. So apparently their line is terrible at pass blocking. But I was just really happy for the Raiders. I have a coworker at work. Shout out to Kevin, who's a Raiders fan. And I hyped him up this week. I was like, "How about them Raiders?" And he's like, "Yeah." He was so excited. He's like, "This never happens." He's like, "I couldn't be more stoked. We could suck tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just gonna enjoy it while it exists." And I'm like, "I
Happiness is
understand,
fleeting.
man. I
So,
know. I know." And one of our other people we work with is a big Cowboys fan, and they have like a sports rivalry, even though their teams are not rivals at all. The other guy, his name is Steve. He's a Cowboys fan. And Kevin, the Raiders fan, got up in our sales meeting, walked over to the screen because Steve was on Zoom, and he like got right in the camera, and he was like, "How about them Raiders?" It was very funny. So I just had to shout out Kevin because it was nice to see the Raiders actually win for once and have a quarterback who is at least above average. I mean, I don't know if I'd call him great, but hey, go Raiders. I
I was
see
gonna,
you.
I was gonna say like when you're just like not a team not that good, not that special. Like what did the Patriots ever do? Oh yeah, yeah, Colts fan.
What
Never
did the
mind.
Patriots ever do to me? Let's take a moment to
Yeah,
contemplate the very
but
complicated question.
I will say this because that's a fair point. I think Pete Carroll, he's when he goes somewhere, it's going to be the teams tend to be good. One
Hmm.
team, at one point, team that I would like to talk about that. Oh man, this is just what's going on with Houston. Seriously, what's going on with Houston? What's going on with CJ Stroud? There's
Honestly, I don't know,
it's not the
to be
sophomore
completely honest.
slump anymore. The O line looked bad. It was just granted they were driving at the end of the game and got the ball punched out by the Rams, but the Raiders, the Houston just they just didn't look any kind of special. And I was hoping there'll be some kind of dark horse, but Stroud didn't look that good. Chubb started turning on at the end of the game, but for the most part, the running game wasn't there. The O line's still looking bad. The defense looks like it's going to have to do most of the work, honestly. The defense is going to very much have to buckle down, but
No, I mean they
man,
definitely have a good defense. I mean, you have Derek Stingley in the secondary, who's probably at this point a top five corner, or is he a safety? I can't remember. But regardless, he's very good. They definitely have pieces on and they have good linebackers. They have a good defense. As someone who took CJ Stroud in a league, buddy, I don't like your team. And I'm not necessarily saying I want you to win, but I do need you to put up more than 6 points in fantasy. So if you could get on that, that would be great. As far as I know, I'm, as you guys can guess, pretty well versed on players just across the league. On my team, not on my team, whatever. I think pretty much the only lineman I know on the Texans is Laramie Tunzel, and it's mostly because of his draft day story. Um, and honestly, I can't even remember. Is he still on the team? I'm pretty sure he's still on the team.
I don't
Outside
think
of
he's on the
that,
team anymore.
oh, well, that tells you how much I know then. Outside of that, I don't know if they're just really missing Tank Dell to take some of the pressure off of Nico Collins. Um, they need Dalton Schultz to show up. He was a good tight end with the Cowboys, really done much for CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud had an underwhelming year last year for sure. A lot of quarterbacks have that in their sophomore year of playing, so it makes sense. Not a good start for him though. I did not watch the game, so I cannot really speak to, how his throws looked and if it was more drops or misses or whatever. Um, but he did not start out particularly well. And to the Rams' credit, some of that could be their defense because they actually do have low key a pretty good defense, which is kind of crazy to think about because they literally went all out for their one Super Bowl and then Aaron Donald retired and we all thought they were going to suck last year and they didn't. And they had two defensive rookie of the year candidates on the D line. Their defense actually kind of came out of nowhere. So it could have been some of that. Um, if I had to put my finger on the problem, it's probably mostly the O line. I do think Chubb is still good, assuming he looks mostly the same after recovering from his injury. And I do think that Tank Dell still being out is making a bigger difference than people think because Nico Collins is very good. But if I'm playing the Texans, I'm doubling Nico Collins and making someone else beat me. And I'm really not that concerned about the other options. So I think when they get Tank Dell back, that will help a lot. I think he started out the year on IR. I don't think he's supposed to get back for four,
I
five,
doubt he's
six
gonna come back
weeks,
this year,
something like that.
honestly. That injury
Yeah,
was bad.
yeah.
But so
It
yeah.
was brutal. So I don't definitely did not look that good.
Yeah. But so like I guess like next point for me, this is my top 5 points. The next point would be it's a win, but it's also a loss. I'm happy San Francisco won. They were my dark horse pick. They were to me the top in the NFC West. But man, it was a Pyrrhic victory because they're still getting injured. Kelsey's not Kelsey Kittle's out for at least a month. Purdy's unlikely to play. McCaffrey's back, but who knows how long he's going. The Rams are just the Rams. The 49ers are just snake bitten at this point. They just it's bad. And I feel bad for Shanahan and them because they can't stay healthy to save their lives. But they gotta win.
It's
They
it's
gotta
not
win.
Shanahan's fault that his players can't stay healthy. I
No, but I
mean,
just feel bad.
they're Jennings is also hurt. Jawan Jennings, I believe, is also hurt. They have Ricky Pearsall and Ayuk is on the IR. So their offense is basically Christian McCaffrey, Byron Robinson, and Ricky Pearsall and some backup. Um, yeah, this is kind of what I suspected would happen to the 49ers. So I can't say I'm super shocked. But it definitely hurts all those George Kittle owners. Am I right?
And my sister's going through it right now.
Or Jessica.
Yeah, for her.
All right. Well, we can transition to typically another NFC powerhouse in the regular season. So in our predictions, I didn't think the Cowboys would be that good. I don't think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. Evidently, I underestimated their offense. Their offense was pretty good. Even without Jalen Carter on the Eagles, they still looked really good. Except CD had like 5 drops and still had 110 yards. So that's a bad day for CD. You're pretty good considering he still had the stats he had. So I underestimated the offense. I can confirm I did not underestimate their defense. It's
Um,
pretty bad. And now they have a key, I believe it's a key secondary player. I think it might be Deron Bland,
yeah, he's out.
who is going on IR, which is really not good because they already have basically no one after they traded Micah Parsons. So yeah, in summary, the Cowboys offense will keep them in games, and their defense will probably throw games away. So I stand by my prediction. I think I predicted third, in the NFC East. I stand by that, especially with the way their defense is looking.
Yeah, I predicted wild card, and I doubt that's gonna happen now. But miracles can happen. The offense look good. See, he's not gonna have 4 drops in a game. Granted, I
And
don't.
Javonte Williams came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, no one was happier Jalen Carn got kicked out than he was because that whole line started off.
My husband was also very happy and equally very angry because Javonte Williams was on his bench. So he was a mixture of my bench has potential and I hate everything. He's on my bench. So
Oh,
mixed feelings.
well, you from the Thursday night to Friday nights, like yeah, that was also another fun game.
Yeah, yeah. Evidently, my next point, I severely underestimated the Chargers' entire team. That's on me, guys. Sorry, Chargers fans, if I let you down.
And,
Um,
and only one of us had them winning the AFC West.
that's true. I guess we're tied. The
Yeah,
Cowboys and the I think I'm still up. I think the 49ers are gonna be bad. Cowboys are gonna be bad. But the Chargers,
I'm good in
they
the
might
AFC.
they might be for real. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie, I was very worried when Justin Herbert lost his left tackle again for the year. We saw how that went last year. Spoiler alert, it went very poorly. Um, but they actually looked very good. Justin Herbert looked really good. This may apparently finally be the year Quentin Johnston decides to break out and turn into a first round draft pick where he was selected, which
yeah,
is just a crazy thought. Omari and Hampton looked okay, but the Chiefs have a really good D line, so I
yeah.
expect greater things from Omari and Hampton. And the defense looked pretty good. I mean, of course, the Chiefs got injured, in the first half, especially on the
75.
wide receiver side. So I'm sure that helped the Chargers for sure. But yeah, the Chargers. How
Well,
about the Chargers? They look pretty good. It's like
uh,
that viral video of that lady where she's like, or the kid, he's like, "Hey, honey." She's like 5. He's like, "What team is this?" And she's like, "Uh, the yellow." And it's like the yellow. No, that's yeah. They showed out. They looked really good.
I'm always going to trust the Harbaugh coach team. He's like,
That's fair.
for whatever reason, that man knows how to coach football. But one person that can't coach football is the other Harbaugh. And I just have to take a moment just to laugh and laugh and laugh and
If you
laugh,
guys aren't watching, he is victoriously waving his terrible towel in the
laugh
air.
at the Baltimore Ravens. Man, I thought I was going to go sleep early Sunday night. I thought, hey, I'm going to get a full 6, 7 hours. Nope, because that was so beautiful. It's so beautiful how they keep blowing games. I don't know how you keep blowing games. You have Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. You can't just run them, and you keep blowing games. And throughout the first half, Derrick Henry looked like the Hall of Fame running back he is. Lamar Jackson looked really good. The Everyone was questioning whether the Bills' defense ain't good or not. Did not, honestly. That's probably going to still be their Achilles heel. But man, when that fourth quarter comes, for whatever reason, this has been going on for like the past 4 or 5 years. When that fourth quarter comes, it's the opposite of Mariano Rivera. You used to give the ball to Rivera as a Yankee fan, you won't be worried. Now you're giving the ball to Devin Williams, honestly. You give it to Devin Williams and just like, man, I thought we had it. They
Man,
that was
you wanna talk about seeing your rival crumble and being so happy. How
uh,
you feel about the Ravens crumbling in the fourth quarter is how I feel about Devin Williams. I'm wearing my Cubs shirt. If you're watching,
oh
do
yeah,
you
that's
guys know how long Devin Williams tormented me as a Brewer? Years. Years and years and years of my life. He was unstoppable. Um, And now I guess he's just not built for New York City, which, in his defense, a lot of people aren't. It usually is about 50-50. You either have great success and it goes awesome, or you just really suck and he's on the really suck side. So I understand.
I don't know. I just finished reading Joe Torre's memoir when about him managing Yankees. He went all into detail about players built for New York, players not for built in New York, and they talk about in his last few years they couldn't get a #1 star to save their lives. And you know what? It's a little like another team that we're both familiar with that can't get a #1 player at an important position. Chelsea, isn't that right?
Yeah, speaking of that Chargers game, yeah, the Chiefs, they need wide receiver help. Yes, I know this is very alarming to everyone who's listening to this. I know this has not been news at all week. You don't have to tell me. No, just kidding. Yeah, it was rough, dude. They have no one, especially with the injury that they just had on Friday night. And Rashee Rice is on the
Suspension
suspended
list.
list until week 6, I believe. Yeah, it's not looking good. Apparently, Juju Smith-Schuster is on the up and up, being picked up off of waiver wires in fantasy because he's apparently now the wide receiver 3 or 2, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a good look. I saw a post on Instagram. Someone was talking about the perfect union of Tyreek Hill getting traded back to the Chiefs. And honestly, that would make sense because the Dolphins, as we will get into, are just terrible. And the Chiefs need a wide receiver one, and Tyreek's already been on that team and won a Super Bowl. So honestly, makes a lot of sense. If the Dolphins fizzle out in the first 4 games of the season, wouldn't shock me. They shipped him off to Kansas City again, round two, for anything, honestly, at this point, because let's be honest, last year, Tyreek started declining, especially if you had him in fantasy, as my husband did, and I heard him say all year, Tyreek is terrible. Why did I take him? I'm not going to start him this week. Then he would start him, and then after the games ended, he'd go, Tyreek is terrible. Why did I do that? And then he would continue to start him, and the cycle would just continue. So I really think that that is a possibility that he gets traded. I mean, they need help bad.
Well, I think besides the Chiefs, I think another team that's been wondering about Tyreek is another team that actually needs a number two receiver. Well, I guess Tyreek would be a number one. And that would be, once again, I have to take out the towel, the Pittsburgh Steelers, because whoever had a shootout between Aaron Rodgers the other day and Justin Fields, man, you won a lot of money on bets because that was ridiculous. That was
Can't
just
say that was on my bingo card. And you got lucky, Daniel, because that game was on local TV where we live. So
oh
you got
yeah.
to watch the whole thing in the comfort of your home
Oh yeah, I
instead
could
of having to go somewhere and people are yelling at you.
yeah, I could totally melt down and just like, why is our defense getting schooled by Justin Field? It makes an
It
absolute
was bad.
and the thing is, there's the highest paid defense. They shouldn't. That's the best I've seen Justin Fields look, and that's probably the best I've seen Aaron Rodgers look since his MVP years, like his last few years in Green Bay. Now,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna say we're definitely going to the Super Bowl. No, this always AFC Championship is always nice. It's been a while, but I'm so happy that I have, it seems like I have a quarterback now. I have a football team. I have competence on offense now. I don't watch games seeing the other team score 21 points and thinking, oh, we don't have a shot now. It feels so nice. Now, the team's not perfect. The running game still has some questions. Rodgers got hit a couple times, so maybe the O-line may not be the best, but he was just spraying around the field like crazy. And to his defense, the Jets were doing their job on offense. They ran for almost 200 yards between Field, Breece Hall, and Allen. They were moving the football until, Jalen Ramsey put on the hit stick to end the game. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Steelers, knock on wood. And for
Yeah.
Jets, I'm not gonna say you have your quarterback to your future. This could just be one game, but you have potentially someone you can build around, which
Yeah.
finally,
Yeah. I think this game is interesting. Just one note. I think it's a double-edged sword, kind of like the Colts against the Dolphins. The Jets are supposed to have a good defense on paper. Clearly, that was not the case, especially against a wizened Aaron Rodgers in his final season, as was announced today on the Pat McAfee show. Yeah, I like I said, I think it's double-edged. I think your offense looked great. I think some of that could be because the Jets defense is terrible. And I think your defense giving up 30 plus points to the Jets, I am not inclined to say that their offense is an elite offense. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think we'll need to go into week 2 and week 3 and see how they perform against superior competition for
of
sure.
course.
Because that's how I feel about the Colts. Because as great as it was, to get a win, a high-scoring game, lots of offense, you look at what your defense did and you're like, okay, I'm reveling in the Ravens blowing the game, but like if it were me, don't feel like I'd have that much of a chance against fourth quarter Josh Allen either. So we'll definitely have to see how the team develops over the year. But the offense looked great.
Well, this was an interesting week for the AAFC North. You had the Pittsburgh game, the Baltimore blew it, and one of the most insane and yet Cleveland games. This is a quintessential Brown game I have ever seen.
Yeah, my headline for this game is not as a Southerner, but Bengals, y'all good? Because the Browns are not a very good team, so you would hope the defense would perform up to snuff. What's wrong with the offense? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a doomer. I know people who are trying to ship Joe Burrow out after week one, and I'm like, guys, it's Joe Burrow. Probably the most prolific offense in football. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here. Give him another 2 or 3 weeks. But I don't think Jamar Chase showed up to the game. Nothing really happened. He didn't really do much of anything. Neither did T. Higgins. I'm not totally versed on the stats that they had, but it was not great. And Joe Burrow got hit a lot, which is pretty reminiscent of Joe Burrow's entire career, if we're
Yeah,
honest. So
Myles
they
Garrett was
need
living in that backfield.
they need O-line as badly as the Colts needed O-line in the era of Andrew Luck. Like the last thing you want to see
Dang.
is Joe Burrow say, "Peace out, guys. I'm done," and retire early. I am not saying nor indicating that that will happen. I'm sure it probably will not. But man, it just reminds me of Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was so good. Andrew Luck had his issues, don't get me wrong, but he was so good. Generally speaking, he lived up to expectations. The same thing with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was really good, lived up to expectations.
Yeah.
They are wasting him away, putting him on a team that does not have a defense and does not have an O line, coming from a Colts fan who watched Peyton Manning in his prime only win one Super Bowl because he had no defense and no O line. I've been there, Bengals fans. Don't be me. We forcibly kicked our Hall of Fame greatest quarterback of all time behind Tom Brady off the team because of his neck injury. And then our promising young star after that, who was probably a top 5 quarterback in the league at some points, retired early. So if you don't want to be like me, get an O line. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what draft capital it takes. I don't care how many picks you have to use on O line. I don't care if that means you have 2 players on defense. He is your most important asset. You gotta make it worth it. He's not going to be here forever and he's going to decline eventually.
Well said, because Lord knows the Browns. Yeah, Myles Garrett was living. I think sacked him on two straight downs and got in on a sack on the third play. And they basically Cincinnati has the bad habit of starting off the season slow. So I figured this would be kind of a slowish game. Cleveland should have won that game. Cleveland, their kicker missed an extra point.
Is
That
it
he
still Cade York? Is that still their
It's not
kicker?
K. No, it's not K. I forgot how you pronounce the guy's name, but it's not K. York anymore.
Oh,
He 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 missed the extra point. He missed the chip shot field goal, and both of Flacco's interceptions would hit the receivers in the hand and just popped up into the Bengals' hands. There's no reason.
very Browns of them.
That's what I said. This was the perfect Browns game. I would feel bad for Myles Garrett if he's not making $40 million a year. Now I'm like, okay,
Deal with it.
you can cry in your satin pillows and stuff.
In
But
your Rolls Royce as you roll down the road in luxury.
one team that, man, they should have also won, but we thought they were going to win. And I love that was the last game of the week. The Bears Vikings game, it's hard to really get a feel for that because it was a tale of two halves. It's literally the meme. They had some first half. I ain't gonna lie. The Bears were rolling. JJ McCarthy looked like technically not
A
a rookie.
rookie.
Well, yeah, he looked essentially like a rookie. And I thought we all thought after he threw that pick six in the middle of the third quarter, oh, that's it, game's over. Okay, clearly this guy. People were talking. Can they get Kirk Cousins back? Maybe they can get some other quarterback. Maybe we should get. It was over. We all thought it was over. We thought Ben Johnson solved Caleb Williams. We thought JJ McCartney was on a tight leash. We figured, okay, the Vikings aren't going to do much. And then the JJ McCartney that was a top 10 pick came out. And man, I didn't expect that. 3 touchdowns, two throwing, one rushing. The fact that he came back after the pick six and threw a strike Justin Jefferson in between two or three defenders was awesome. Him throwing over the top to Aaron Jones Sr. was awesome. Him running in for a touchdown. And as all this is happening, the Bears could do nada. The Bears couldn't do anything. You have to respect Brian Flores for as a defensive mind. Just he started sending more blitzes after Caleb, and Caleb was clearly shaken. He missed a touchdown pass late in the game. So this is probably some of the best we've seen from Caleb, honestly. He was mobile, he was moving around. He did show some of the athleticism, but it's still not there. And hopefully it'll get there in the next few weeks because like if it's not there for Chicago, it's certainly there for Minnesota to at least keep them in the game. Because that defense will keep them in the game. And if McCartney, all he has to do is not throw a potential pick six, I think he can do that easily.
Yeah, no. There's been a lot of negative discourse around the Bears. Lots of people, especially Bears fans, saying, same old Bears. We blow the lead. Can't do anything. Our defense is terrible. Caleb Williams is terrible. I, for one, as an unbiased non-Bears fan, was actually relatively encouraged from this game for the Bears for most of the game.
She's a
Um,
Cubs fan of people, not a Bears fan.
yeah. I mean, obviously the fourth quarter was bad. I mean, it was just really bad.
That's all.
But, and obviously the stats overall don't look great. But I'll tell you what, man, the stats through the first three quarters, 2.5 quarters. I mean, Caleb Williams was by no means, lighting the world on fire, but he definitely looked better. I mean, I would say he was hitting some nice balls, down the field to Odunze, who's probably emerging as their wide receiver one. I was laughing out loud
Really?
because Colston Loveland literally did nothing from what I watched, and they picked him over Tyler Warren. So that's what you get, Bears fans. You're welcome. Should have taken Tyler Warren when he had the chance. It's okay. The pain you feel is the pain I felt when the Raiders took Brock Bowers in front of us when they didn't need a tight end. So we're all in the same boat. But yeah, JJ McCarthy definitely looked like a rookie in his first half and then came out in the second half and said, it's the meme, time to show them who I am, and he did. He looked really good. So obviously we'll need to see some consistency from him as the season goes on, and obviously the Bears have a lot to clean up. But I mean, the Bears scored over 20 points, which is very unbears of them. And they had some good looks on offense, which is also very unbears of them. And they had a lot of starters out on defense. So I think Bears fans need to pump the brakes a little bit. I don't think it's as bad as it looks. I think Ben Johnson is a good coach.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So you think Ben Johnson is a good coach? I guess the final question everyone here wants to know is, do the Colts finally have their quarterback?
As much as I want to be like you in the preseason, where you were like, give me 3 games, I can convince everyone the Steelers will win the Super Bowl. Um, I don't think I'm there. Don't get me wrong. I was ecstatic. When we threw a touchdown on the first drive, I looked at my husband. I said, is this what week one joy feels like? Because we hadn't won in week one in 11 years, which is just a painfully long time. I was 16 11 years ago. I didn't even live in this state. So it was a while ago. But no, he looked great. Just kind of like I said with the Steelers, double-edged sword. The Dolphins could arguably be the worst team in football this year. Tua just looked terrible. I really feel for him. I mean, I think he's one injury away from being forcibly retired by the league, which
Yeah.
is just, you never want to see. Tyreek and Jalen Waddle both did nothing, which is not great for fantasy owners. Um, they did have a good run game though. Their run game looked good. That was like the one part of the game that didn't go great for us. But Daniel Jones looked great. I mean, there's no denying it. And I will have you know, I was listening to WFAN this morning and I was listening to Tiki Barber, okay, memorialized giant legend. And he was telling all the Giants fans to pump the brakes on Daniel Jones because, oh, he looks so good in Indianapolis. Everyone sucks with the Giants. And he was like, if you guys actually watched the game, he didn't even throw the ball downfield. He was doing checkdowns like always. I said, excuse me. Hall of Fame Tiki Barber. Sir, that is not the case. I too watched the whole game and I watched him hit Alec Pierce 25 yards down the field on a sideline strike going out of bounds. So, Statistically speaking, you would be incorrect, but we'll see. We play the Broncos in week 2, which is a tough matchup, especially on defense. So I think that'll probably be more of an indicator of what Daniel Jones really is, especially since they'll probably lock down Downs or Pittman with Surtain, who's the best corner in football. So we'll have to see. I think that'll be more of a barometer for how Daniel Jones really looks. But it was definitely encouraging, and I was lit that we won. It was a good day on Sunday, guys. Me and Daniel were texting each other. He was like, "The Steelers," and I was like, "The Colts." And we were like, "The pod's about to be electric," and electric it has been. So we'll see how week 2 goes. But week 1 was definitely encouraging. R.I.P. Anthony Richardson. If Daniel Jones keeps doing that, my friend, I fear you have no shot on this team ever again.
Well, I can only hope. Well, maybe he can come over to Pittsburgh if Aaron Rodgers is done. But looking ahead to week 2, I'm just looking like, what's the one game that I'm kind of interested in watching outside, obviously, my favorite team. And the one game I have to say is like, I'm not sure how many people are focusing on this. It's honestly, it's going to be Lions. It's Lions and Bears. They both coming off of losses. They both have big questions. The Lions, they didn't. They both are the two teams in the NFC North that don't have wins. They both got, at least with the Lions, they got manhandled by Green Bay. Vikings, it was more like the end of game kind of thing. Everyone's questioning, what about the coaching now? Is the coaching staff done because they don't have Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson anymore? And with the Bears, they have the perspective of, can Caleb look like he did in the first half the entire game? So this isn't, obviously it's not a loser leaves town match. It's week 2, but you're gonna get this. To me, eyeballs on everyone in terms of Bears and Lions, just for the fact that the two major questions coming to the season were not answered. We're still worried about
Yeah,
Detroit, and can is there going to be a regression without the coaches and without the coordinators? And is
yeah,
Caleb Williams able to play consistently awesome the entire game? So that'll be
right.
that's my one game. What's your one game, Chelsea, outside of our
I
game?
I'm gonna go Minnesota Vikings, Atlanta Falcons. Michael
Oh,
Penix looked really good on Sunday, at least in fantasy, as again, my husband had him on his bench. So I find out about all kinds of people on Sundays.
and
I'm interested to see how JJ McCarthy looks against the Falcons. The Falcons have a decent defense. I mean, it's not spectacular, it's not awful. I would say they're probably a little above average, but they have some good pieces on there, especially in the secondary. So I'm interested to see how he looks against that. And then I'm really interested, more interested, to be honest with you, to see how Penix looks against the Vikings defense. Because Flores is known to be a defensive mastermind and kind of like the Bears' new DC, who used to be the head coach for the Saints. They are great DCs and they are terrible head coaches, just really bad. So just keep him on defense. It'll be fine. But I'm excited to see Penix on national TV, and maybe Pitts will get a touchdown. Maybe this will be the year he'll break out finally.
well, that's going to happen sooner than. No, I got nothing. He's just been disappointing since he's come in the league. I'm sorry.
He has. This is the
Also,
first year I truly gave up on him. First 3 years, I was like, he's the guy. This year, I'm like, he's not the
also,
guy.
I forgot I faced your husband fancy and literally only I won by less than half a point just because he had the Ravens defense.
Bro, he was crying. He's like,
I
are
was
you
too.
serious?
I'll see
I
for a different
cannot believe I
reason.
lost that game.
Oh man, that was right there's a miracle game for me. But Chelsea, it's time to bid farewell to all the lovelies. Hit them with the tags.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. Tune back in next Thursday where we will recap week 2 and look into the future, into week 3. Follow us on our social medias. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Launch Codes Football. We are also on Discord. So if you want to join our Discord server to converse during game days, hit us up on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Twitter, and we can send you the link. Our Twitter handle is different. It's LaunchCodes FB. So if you're a Twitterer or an Xer, I guess now, since it's different, hit us up on there. And we're on Twitch too. We streamed our draft. That was really fun. We're on YouTube. We're at 37 subscribers on YouTube. Goal is 50. So hit us with the sub on YouTube so we can hit our first goal. Road to 1,000, baby. We're on the way.
Let's go.
But thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. I'm Chelsea
And I'm Daniel.
and we will see you next week.
Hopefully when the Steelers are 2-0. Okay.
And the Colts.
And the Colts.